Ladies and gentlemen, it is February 7th, 2022, 9:45 p.m. And this is a video for the series How Do I? And what we're going to talk about tonight is how do I become a better professional speaker? This is not going to be one of my more professional speeches. It is 9:45 at night, and I have a lot of work to do tonight, so I'm drinking these purple Monster Energy drinks. Uh, with that being said, let's get right into it. If you want to be a professional, you have to make sacrifices, no matter what your occupation is in life. Think about your occupation and think about what you had to sacrifice to get to where you are today. Number one thing that I had to sacrifice, and that a lot of people are going to have to sacrifice, is time. Now, before we even get to time, you as a professional speaker are going to ask yourself, well, David, what am I going to talk about if I want to be a professional speaker? And that's when I pull out one of these babies and say, hey, look at yourself. Because if you don't know what you're going to talk about, the number one thing that you can talk about is going to be you. Because who's an expert on you? Nobody. If you look at the topics that I speak about being African American. I speak about having a mental health myself, dealing with mental health myself, having a disability, and now for Black History Month, being an African American veteran. And these are four things that I deal with every single day. I'm black, I'm a veteran, I'm disabled, and I have mental health issues. Because you know what? I speak about suicide sometimes. Just like some people have mood swings and they may feel sad or they may feel happy, they may feel glad. Suicide is a mood swing for me. It's the God's honest truth. Suicide is a mood swing. Sometimes, no matter how good my life is, I may wake up and feel like I don't want to be here. And that's why I have a suicide prevention plan, which is on one of my blogs on my website, www.dkenjijr.com. Now, what does it take to be a great professional speaker? What does it take to be a great professional? Anything. It takes time. And you have to sacrifice time. Time is the one resource, the one currency that we all have that is equal. It is up to you to spend it how you would like. We all don't have $1 million, but we all have 24 hours in a day. How are you going to spend your 24 hours? Are you going to spend an hour for yourself to learn how to be a professional speaker, to get better if you want to do so? Let me tell you how I did it. I read books. Books. Okay? This here. A dictionary and a thesaurus. Because the number one thing that you hate to hear as a black male or female is, oh, you speak so well. Because you know deep down in the back of your mind, you want to say what? Oh, I speak so well for a black person? Is that what you're trying to tell me? So I studied my craft. And one of the most well-known black African Americans that I know, this man is the most well-known, he's the most, he has a vernacular that is out of this world. Let me use one of my words. Stephen A. Smith on First Take. He sacrificed his time so that other black men can get the opportunities on these sports shows. Now, I'm not speaking for him, but I do know that I have an African American, I have a Black History Month series right now that I'm doing for African American veterans, and I speak about the sacrifices that African Americans made before us. And I know that Stephen A. Smith, he tells you every day he used to work for the newspapers in Philadelphia, things like that. And I'm pretty sure that this black man has heard, "Oh, you speak so well." I'm sure there's no white man that ever heard that. "Oh, you speak so well." So sacrifice your time. If you want to be professional, time is the number one thing that you can put into your craft. Because not only did I read the dictionary and the thesaurus, I read this book, Talk Like TED, because for a long time I wanted to be a TED talker. I wanted to talk. I wanted to have my own TED talk. Bought this book, Lost Art of the Great Speech, how to write one, how to deliver it. When it comes to famous talks, I believe the most famous speech of all time, the "I Have a Dream" speech, Martin Luther King Jr. During Black History Month, Martin Luther King Jr. But I had to sacrifice time to read all of these books, to study my craft, to get to where I am now. Now what's next? When it comes to professional speaking, once again, look yourself in the mirror. Everybody has a story. I don't give a damn if you white, black, purple, orange, green, blue. Everybody has a story. What's yours? Learn how to tell your own story. Because the year right now is 2022. And I was born in 1987. And back then, diversity, it wasn't accepted as much as it is now. If you have one leg, two legs, three legs, four legs, if you green, purple, white, blue, whatever, people want to hear your story, but you have to know how to tell your story. Here's one of my stories. Here's my biggest story. And I have multiple things that I can talk about, and let me use this as an example to show you what you can talk about as well. In this book, Calvary, I have a bookmark in here for a reason. This time, I only had to wait 2 days before Sergeant Soto called me back with the results. "David, you got a 31. You barely passed, but you passed," he said. Now, what is David, what are you talking about? I'm talking about my ASVAB, which is the entry exam into the military. I barely passed my ASVAB. I barely was able to be a Cab Scout. And if you know me, this is all I talk about. Being a Cab Scout, writing this book, Calvary, being all about this, man. My whole life being dedicated to the military, right? However, I barely graduated high school. I got the bare minimum on my ASVAB. I was barely able to join the Army. I failed the first ASVAB. As a matter of fact, buy my book Calvary. You will read about it. I took my ASVAB in Buffalo, New York. Go Buffalo Bills. Go Josh Allen. Next year is our year. After them overtime rules, we hate them. However, since I'm from Rochester, since I like to overcome stuff, I got over that. And let me show you what one of the happiest moments of my life is. Give me a second. Here we go.
James Eichelberg. Tina Huntington. Curtis Thompson, magna cum laude. David Kendrick.
Oh man, that video, man, it gives me, it's nothing like that, man. For a kid like me to barely graduate from high school, right? And then for my mom to see me graduate from college. And that was my bachelor's degree. I got my master's. But for me to take this picture with my mom, hold on. I don't know how to do this, man. That's why I need a producer for these videos. Anyway, my mom, me, my stepdad, you can read all about this in Calvary. That's one of the stories that I could have talked about, education and the value of education in my life. But I didn't decide to do that. I didn't. I wanted to talk about being a Calvary Scout. So, not only being a Calvary Scout, but mental health. And so I moved. Well, this is when I was in Atlanta. I graduated from. First of all, this is when I graduated from DeVry with my bachelor's degree. Then I got my master's degree from Keller Graduate School with a concentration in project management, and then I went on to join the Project Management Institute here in Atlanta. I went on to go do a bunch of different things for my education, things that I never would have done if I didn't get my education. And I could have went on to just give my professional speaking career could have just been about, hey, education, overcoming adversity, blah blah blah. But that's not what I decided to do. It may not be what you want to do. You may say, hey, well, this is one aspect of my life that I didn't want to talk about. But, if you're like me, and if you have a adventurous life or whatever, you have many different things that you want to talk about. So we move forward, way forward to, I believe, 2019, when I became involved with nonprofit organizations. And well, first, in college, let me go backwards because I messed my speech all up. I got all involved in something called the National Society for Leadership and Success. 2015, baby. I became a national engaged leader, which means that I wanted to be a leader in my society. And I told myself, before I give a TED Talk, I want to be on that stage. And I don't know if he's there now, but there's this black dude who used to give these speeches, and he used to sweat all the time. This bald-headed black dude who used to give these, he used to introduce the speakers. And man, one day, Ariana Huffington gave a speech. And she told us about the grind that she had to go through to be where she is now. And if you don't know who Ariana Huffington is, she started the Huffington Post. And the whole reason for the National Society of Leadership and Success is to hear from different leaders from multiple, just all around the world. I believe that the Huffington Post started in England, or she's from England, don't quote me on that. But man, when I heard that, how she was so exhausted that she fell one day and broke her jaw, I said, damn, she works hard. Damn. I said, this young lady works hard for her craft. And as a professional speaker, one day, I wanted to pay homage to her. So, if you can see this here, damn it, this ring. This is 2011. This is me in the Huffington Post. I was shot by a sniper in Iraq. Here's what you don't understand about life after war. When I look in the parking lot, I can feel my sniper looking at me through the scope of their gun. My body gets hot and I begin to sweat by David Kendrick. Boom! That's me. That's me. Right there. Okay? I need a producer for my YouTube because these lights got me all jacked up, whatever. However, I got an article in the Huffington Post because where is it? As part of the National Society of Leadership and Success, I heard Ariana Huffington give a post, and I used that to push me and push me and push me and tell myself, you know what? I'm not gonna work myself to death. And hey, on November 11th, 2021, Veterans Day, I got an article posted in her newspaper. And guess what happened as a result? Book sales through the roof that month. Through the roof! Now, let me continue to tell you things that you can do to become a professional speaker. Once again, this is just me talking about me, but things that I have used to help me fuel my book sales and get more speeches in the future. This is the last thing that I will tell you. I am vice president of a great organization here in DeKalb County, Georgia called Not Me DeKalb. How did I get this position? I went through a wonderful program here in Atlanta called the United Way VIP program in 2017. Okay? Dang these lights. I need a producer or something. But that's me. And if you in Atlanta and you don't know Janice Robinson, you're slacking. Step your game up. But however, through this program, I became vice president of Not Me DeKalb. And that little 17-year-old black boy who could barely graduate from high school, joined the army, got shot, still didn't get respect, worked hard. After he joined the army, after he got shot, got a bachelor's degree. Then I got my master's. And now in Atlanta, in DeKalb County, I'm the vice president of a very prestigious mental health organization. And I have many things that I can talk about along the way. I can talk about education. I can talk about being a minority. I can talk about mental illness. I can talk about being a leader in a nonprofit organization. I could talk about making a better life for yourself, leaving your city as an African American. I can talk to all the kids in the ghettos all across the world. But what I love to talk about is mental health. You are special. There are about 4 or 5 topics you can talk about when it comes to this professional speaking thing. All you have to do, perfect your craft, maybe find a Toastmasters near you, do some table topics, learn how to speak extemporaneously, which is my favorite word, learn how to talk off the cuff, because you may have interviews and you may not know the answer, but when you go through table topics at Toastmasters, you know how to speak extemporaneously. I am was a proud member of Rising Phoenix Toastmasters in Marietta, Georgia, at the YMCA in Marietta. However, this is not hard because I can talk about myself all day. And you can talk about yourself all day because you are the only expert on you. Remember that.